Welcome back. We're continuing our topic from last time about guys, and we just want to continue with the question we were talking about. Do you think that you can continue a pure relationship with the guy that you're with? Marlene, you were about to say something?
I think you could continue a relationship as friends, because it's better to stay friends than be in a relationship, because when you break up, you guys won't be able, you guys will be embarrassed of each other, and you won't talk to each other anymore. So it's better to stay friends.
Okay. How about if you get into a relationship, do you think that it can stay pure? Miriam?
I don't think it will stay pure because first, we're young and we shouldn't be doing that, and we'll face a lot of problems, so we shouldn't even do it.
Face problems like what?
With parents, if they find out, with friends sometimes. Sometimes they disagree and they go you shouldn't have a boyfriend, but you still want to have a boyfriend. So then you start fighting and stuff. And sometimes friends' parents, if they find out.
Okay. Do you guys think that there's a difference between having a boy as a friend and a boy being in a relationship? Being in a relationship with a boy? Tina?
I think there's a difference because when you're in a relationship with a boy, that boy can try to pressure you to do physical things. But then, when you're a friend, when you just have a guy as a friend, then sometimes he can look out for you, and sometimes he can actually give you advice.
So what's the difference really of having a guy as a friend and a guy in a relationship? Because if we're not looking to do physical things with a guy, then why be in a relationship?
I don't personally think this is right, but some people just go into a relationship because they think that's cool and that's what everyone's doing. But I don't personally think that.
Do you guys agree? Laura?
Yeah, about what she said about the guy thing. They can pressure you, but some girls are just strong enough to go no, I won't do that, and just dump him. But some girls actually they have low self-esteem in themselves, and they think maybe he'll like me more and stop looking at other girls if I do whatever he wants with him. So you do it, and then you get into big trouble and you regret everything that you did, and you can't get whatever you did back. You can't have your virginity back because of what he did to you. You just can't. So you just ruined it right there.
Okay. Maria?
I also have to say that your friends also pressure you, whether they're going out and saying you should do this. Sometimes by describing their personal relationships with their guys, they're also they're pressuring you, subconsciously pressuring you, because you're feeling left out. You're feeling like everybody's doing it. Why am I the only one that's not doing it? Is there something wrong with me? And that also, it makes you do things with guys you don't want to do. It's not also just the guys. Sometimes it's also your friends.
What do you think society is telling you to do? Does society pressure you to be in relationships? What do you guys think?
I think society pressures us to be in a relationship because whenever you walk around in the streets, you see everybody in a relationship, a girl walking with a boy, holding hands and stuff like that. So the girls think I'm the only one that's not doing this, so I should do it.
Maria?
I think society does, because everyone around you, your friends, they might have boyfriends and they're dating. They're like, why aren't you? And they won't understand. Then you'll see them a week or later, a few weeks later, and they're already broken up, and it's not gonna last. And yes, society does, because they'll think it's just for experience and for fun, but it's kind of a serious thing. But I don't think some people think of it like that. They just think of it as everyone's doing it, why can't I?
How do you handle that? How do you handle the pressure from society and from your friends? Do you feel like you're able to handle it, or do you feel like I have to adjust and I have to adjust to what they're telling me to do?
whatever like you're believing, you should believe. Like you believe that what you're doing is right, so you should do it right. You shouldn't listen to anyone. You know what you know what you're gonna do. You know what you want to do, so you will do it. But if you don't want to do it, you're not gonna do it.
For me, not really. I'm not pressured right now by society, but I know other people are. But I think they should be comfortable with what they want to do, and when they're ready, they should start. But like not right now.
I think it does pressure us because sometimes friends at school might make fun of us, like if we say we don't have a boyfriend. And especially if our friends are all going out with a guy and like they're talking about their boyfriend, it might like bother you if you're not going out with the guy, so it'll probably pressure you.
How do you handle that?
Maybe like I won't listen to what they're saying about guys and like I'll just ignore them.
You can also handle it by figuring out what sets you apart from the rest of the girls. I mean, if you look at them, you see most of the girls who have boyfriends, the way they're dressed, the way they act, and the way they speak, and you compare that to yourself, and sometimes it's a good thing, because sometimes they're always cursing, sometimes they're wearing short skirts and V-necks, and if that's what a guy wants, and if that's how you're going to get a boyfriend, and you don't want to do that, then maybe you should be happy that you're not like that, because, you know, who'd want to be cursing all the time and revealing themselves even when it's freezing outside? Sometimes it just doesn't make any sense.
Do you feel that they notice? So do you feel like you're sort of, putting an impression on your friends and changing the way they perceive, how they should relate to guys and have...
Well, when my friends tell me about, what they've done with guys, sometimes I try to convince them that, it's not always the right thing to do. And I say, look at that girl and look at that girl and look at yourself. Do you want to be like that? Do you want to turn into that? Or do you want to be like this girl?
Either way, sometimes like guys, if they ask you out and you say no because you're not comfortable, they get impressed and they start liking you more. So it's like good to be yourself.
Sometimes we're under the impression that, okay, I have to be a certain way so guys can like me, but we don't realize that they like the strong type. They like the ones that say no and that have strong personalities and that are comfortable with themselves. And that the society makes us feel a certain way where if you're not a certain way and you're not putting on certain clothes and acting a certain way with guys, then you're never going to be liked and you're not attractive that way, when it's actually the opposite. And it's the girls that are insecure about themselves that want to have you do the same thing as them. They want you to go out, they want you to just like them so they don't feel bad about themselves.
I agree. And also, all the nice guys don't go for girls that dress like that. They go for girls that, are nice and they're nice to people and they respect themselves, yeah, and they're confident. If you're looking for a guy who only likes you because you show off your skin and he'll only like you if you do things with him that you aren't really sure that you want to do, then what's the point?
That's a winner right there.
And you also bring up a good topic because then the way you present yourself is the type of person you're going to attract. Do you get what I'm saying? So exactly what you said basically is perfect.
Well, what do you think about that? Do you agree? I don't know. If you're presenting yourself as a confident person, do you think that guys are not going to be attracted to that kind of thing? Like, are you necessarily going to attract the people that you want?
I completely agree with what Maria said because, like, if you're wearing the revealing clothes, you're going to get the guys that, like, go around and, like, they've been with a lot of girls. But if you wear, like, your normal clothes, like, you don't show too much skin, and then the guys that, like, they want to, like, one girl, you're going to get them.
Do we all want those type of guys? Is that what every girl is looking for, or are some girls not? They're interested in the others. They're interested in the ones that, like, oh my God, yeah, he went out with me too. Like, I want to be one of those girls. Some girls just want the cool guy, right? No? You all want the nice, heady, simple guy? Yeah? Excellent. What do you think is the appropriate age to start dating then and to get into relationships?
I think the right dating age is like when you're actually an adult, when you're like I'm gonna start actually at like 19, 20, stuff like that. So yeah, it's because when you're dating at that time, you know what's right and wrong. You know like what's right to do and what's wrong to do. So yeah, that's the right age.
Well, there's also an upside and a downside to dating when you're older. The upside is the downside is that sometimes you don't understand, the difference between a nice guy and a good guy because you haven't been, you don't know the difference because you haven't been dating. And sometimes you can fall for the simple things like if a guy writes you a love song, then you're automatically head over heels when he could really be just trying to trick you. And some girls don't know the difference between a pickup line and, when he's really trying to just tell you how he feels.
I agree with what Marlene said before. Like a good dating age would be like around the 20s, like when you're ready, like when both of you guys are matured and you guys are about ready to settle down and like start thinking about getting married.
Okay. Is marriage supposed to be the goal of a relationship? I might get into a relationship because I'm lonely and I want someone there to say goodnight to at night. That's why some people get into relationships.
And do you also feel like this is, relating to what Marianne says about, and what Maria was saying about, experiencing. Do you think you have to date people just to get an experience of if someone's, flirting or some, you know what I mean, to get an idea of a guy? Do you think you have to experiment? Or do you feel that you'll know when you're in the right relationship at that right age?
Barbara?
No matter how much experience you get, every guy's different, so you're never going to know with like each guy what is what, because every single person is different.
Maria?
I think you will know when it does happen, but because you'll know and you probably experienced it from your friends, like how they were approached. But I agree with Barbara, every guy is different. So it kind of depends in that when you're mature enough, because everyone matures at different ages. So when you do mature, that's probably when you should start.
When do you think is a mature age?
Probably like around 19. And like when you're starting college and stuff like that, because you have good self-esteem in that you don't really care what people say about you anymore, and that you're your own person.
Miriam?
I agree with her because like at the right age, we're supposed to date people like at 19 or 20. We are going to have experience from our parents and friends that been through stuff like that, like when they were younger, or friends that are older than us, and especially like parents or older brothers and sisters, because they already done that and they'll have experience.
We have to make sure that we're at the right age, because as much as we have friends that are guys and ones that help us and that advise us, there's a time for friendship and there's a time for relationship, and that we just have to be watchful at all times who we get close to, and that you will know when you're mature enough to handle a relationship that's going into marriage. And we thank you for joining us today. Until our next session.